Sure, I come back here by 4:59. So, did I show you how to do that? The share thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
See,
It's live
not,
now?
No,
Because it takes a second
it does.
to come on.
Let me
Okay.
see if I'm on your. Let me look on this one, if it's available here.
Here it is. It's live now, right?
All right. So you hit that.
That's how you do it. You hit that.
You hit that.
Okay. While you're watching this, there should be a way to share this. I was doing it last week. What about when it comes out down here? See that? See it here?
Oh,
Go
okay.
here.
Right, huh?
Go to groups.
Oh, okay. And just
Hit
start,
one.
and then I'll start. I can check on my paper which one I've done. Okay.
If you go
back.
just go slow and you know.
Okay.
You'll
So
get
don't
it.
go to that other thing. Go stay on this.
Stay
one.
on this.
Okay.
Stay on that right there.
And share. Okay.
Okay?
Thanks. Groups. All right. Good.
You got time to kiss me?
Thank you for showing me that.
Oh, it's not a problem.
Okay, babe. Okay.
All right. Okay. 2 cameras on, 4:59. We're live. Oh, what are you giving away? You want Paul to give away grips tonight?
I want Paul to give away Preston Petty. Oh, they're not Preston Petty grips.
Yes, they are.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
So I want, Paul's Preston Petty grips for the viewer appreciation.
Right.
And then
we got the poster. And then what do you want to do for
what's it worth?
what's it worth? Stickers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just made a new batch today because George Ackerman wanted 10.
Ackerman wants 10?
Yeah. So
okay.
It's
6 o'clock. I kind of have to
go
start the show.
I'm Gary Chaplin. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A with
Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Abbate, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. Thank you for joining our show tonight. Susie, everything good over there?
Everything's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're sharing the show a little bit.
I am doing that.
What about giveaway prizes? Who's getting what?
I have grips for viewer appreciation.
Yep.
And I have a poster for trivia and stickers for what's it worth.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's it?
Yeah.
That's enough, right?
Yeah.
Who gives away more than Vintage Motocross Q&A? Right?
Yeah.
Right. I want to thank our sponsors who help make this show possible. Racer X, the International Motocross Museum, Motion Pro, SoCal, Mako. Thank you, Gary Quartz, Arma, Preston Petty Products, Full Circle, and of course, Amsoil. Don't forget, if you would like to get on the board like this, have your name up behind me or behind Susie like it is over there. Let me see if I get a shot of that. No? Yes? No, I guess I can't do that right now while I'm doing this. Anyway, for $49.95, you get your name up on the board for 90 days. And you get a shirt, and you get a poster, and you get an apron. It's a pretty good deal, right? At Vintage Motocross Q&A for $49. Also, if you wanted to get your name up on the board, like Full Circle or Motion Pro, it's $249.95 a month. All right? I ask you people to share the show every week. Susie's doing a heck of a job sharing right now. I can tell you that. And Susie did mention that we're going to be giving away a set of grips like this a little bit later on, okay? Our next time try this segment is brought to you by Arma Motorcycle Racing. Really the first group who really got vintage racing going here in the United States. Be sure to visit them online at arma.org. Tonight we got something from Roy. I liked it. I was looking forward to showing it to you. So let's see what Roy has for us tonight.
Hello everybody, I'm Roy Vanderveer and welcome to my two-stroke pro shop. Today we're going to take a look at how to verify that an ignition coil is in good working condition. So you're going to need a $15 multimeter. You're going to need to set it to ohms, and you're going to need to have the specifications for the coil. Although we'll talk about some generalizations and some things you could look for even if you don't have the exact specs, but always best to have that. So the low speed coil, which you test by grounding our probe out on one of the posts and connecting it to this wire. The spec is 1 ohm, and we're at 1.5. 1.4 moves around a little bit. That, I would not write it off based on that specification, but then we have to test the secondary coil or the high-speed coil. And the problem this bike was having is it would not take full throttle. The higher the RPMs got, the more it began to break up. So we put our lead in the high tension wire, and then we're going to ground it out. And we have to change our ohm meter to read for 5.9K, so 5,900 ohms. And when we do that, it's set to 20,000 K. Let's try that. Nothing. We're getting an I, and I stands for infinite resistance. So there's a big contributor to the problem, if not the whole problem. Then I got a new coil from RM Stator. I'm real happy with them for getting it out to me quick. And these are guys that I would buy from again for sure. They've been doing a good job for a long time. That's not a paid endorsement. I just buy their stuff like everybody else. So we hook up the ohm meter and we see we're at 4.59. So 5,900 ohms plus or minus at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. We're a little bit cooler than that. So the fact that this is reading a little bit low, not a big deal. We're in the game, and we didn't get the I, the infinite. That means you're done. I'm sure we're in good shape here. Let's take a look at the primary coil too, just to see where it's at. And we have to switch that to 200 ohms. So we are reading small numbers. We're at 1.1. So 1.0 right on spec. So with that test, we can know that this ignition coil is in good shape and ready to go, and that this ignition coil is ready for the trash. And next up, I'm going to show you how to check the stator coils. Okay, now we're going to check the source coil and the pickup coil test in the stator. And what we need to do is first have the specifications, which I have right here. We need to test the white-red wire to the black wire. Let's get this in here. Okay. I saw 11 ohms there real quick. This is always one of those things you need like 4 hands to do. But we're showing 10.9. The specification is 12.4 at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. We're a bit below that in temperature, so that guy looks like it's in a pretty happy place. Then we want to check the source coil, which we connect brown to black. And let's see what we get. Oops, have to change the values to a higher number because we're looking for 420 ohms out of this one. We're at 287. That's low, and it's something to be aware of. As the coil heats up, that number will come up. Resistance values go up with heat, and that's something I wanted to touch on real quick. So you know, as it gets warmer, conductors with materials like copper and aluminum, which are good conductors, the resistance increases with temperature. This is primarily because as temperature rises, the atoms in the conductors vibrate more vigorously. These vibrations lead to more frequent collision between the free electrons, which carry the current, and the vibrating atoms thereby increase resistance. Semiconductors work the other way, and insulators work different as well, but we're looking at conductors, and we need to know what the value is, and that's why there's a temperature rating along with everything else. So while these numbers give me a little bit to be aware of, and it's good to write these numbers down, because if this bike starts running different, we can run right back in here, just pull the plug. We don't even have to take the stator cover off. Pull the plug, check them, see if anything's changed. If things are moving around, that's another indicator that some parts need to be swapped out. But I believe this guy was taken out by an ignition coil problem. Stator coil is not looking great, but I think it's going to work. After I get this all together, I will swing back and let you know whether luck was on our side or if we're going to be ordering parts to correct the stator. Another pro tip to watch out for with any aftermarket part, everything is suspect. For the orange wire off the coil, you'll see that the connector bullet that they put on the wire, it's a little bit undersized. So I had to install a correctly sized connector. Otherwise, this thing, it's not even making, it's not work. It's just falling into the hole. So with the correct size connector on there, we can push that together and be confident that it's not going to come apart. So just keep your eyes open.
All right, Roy Vanderveer. It did work, indeed. Great information from Roy, and it's all going real well here at Vintage Motocross Q&A tonight. What do we got up next here? We have the studio. Okay, got the Here's a Problem segment brought to you by Motion Pro. Don't forget, there's still a special going on at Motion Pro. Save 20% upon checkout. Use promo code MP9135. That's MP9135. Now, I don't think I showed you this a couple of weeks ago. It came in to be November 1st. November 1st was on like a Saturday or a Sunday. We didn't do it last week because we had that incredible Mugen special with Terry Good. So let me say this, and it's from Kevin Burgess, who I know is watching tonight. Hey, Joe, I have a tip that you might want to share with your viewers. I live in Pennsylvania where the winters are cold, so I do a lot of my bike work in the basement. I found when you paint with an aerosol spray can, you can soak the can in hot water, 110 to 120 degrees, and shake according to the manufacturer's guidelines. My basement is usually about 68 degrees, and I've found that this truly helps. It lowers the viscosity of the paint and helps build pressure in the can, which results in a finer atomization of the paint. That is an absolutely excellent tip from Kevin. And that's a good tip even if you're, maybe it's a nice spring day, but it's only 55 or 60, and you want to get that paint nice and warm. That's a great way to do it. Get it in some warm water, 110, 120 degrees. Then you could shake it up, make it all great. It all comes out real happy-like, okay? Unfortunately, our guy at the in the Mako Minute, Paul Griffin, he's traveling this week, so he can't be here, but I do want to mention that he will be back next week with some really, really great information, as he usually does, on the Makos. And the Mako Minute is usually brought to you by, actually, it's always brought to you by SoCal Mako. Thank you, Gary Kortz and SoCal Mako, an authorized Mako-only dealer. And if you want to get a hold of Gary Kortz, well, here's some information right here. There you go. There's his contact information. He's in Ventura. There's the phone number and the email, gary@socalmako.com. We are going to take a little break here from Preston Petty. We'll be right back with trivia. Put your thinking caps on, guys. Here we go. God said, let there be light, and there was light. Preston Petty said, let there be light, and he gave you this, 1,200 lumens with a rechargeable battery on the back. Hook it up to your bike. No wires, no fuss, no muss. Get over to PrestonPettyProducts.com today. Thanks, Paul Standard. All right, there we go. And trivia, as I promised, is up next. Trivia is brought to you by Motorcyclist Illustrated. Be sure to visit Motorcycle Illustrated on Facebook. Great little page there with a lot to offer. Big diversity in that group. Now, trivia is a call-in contest only. So you're going to be calling 925-784-2195. 784-2195. The prize, of course, this beautiful 18 by 24 poster of Tony DiStefano and Jimmy Weinert. This was on the cover of Racer X back in 2004. Very limited edition, and there are even less now that we've been giving them away for a while. I want to thank Mike McCook for that. Here comes the trivia. It's very, well, let's see what it is. It's not a question. Who's this? Call in, 925-784-2195. Tell me who this gentleman is, and we will give you a poster, compliments of Mike McCook. All right, 784-2195. Dave's Classic Corner. Dave's Classic Corner is brought to you by AMS and Dave Boydston. Be sure to follow Dave Boydston on Facebook. Okay, so we've got some really cool stuff, interesting places that he's going all the time, and takes us out to swap meets with him and all sorts of things. Dave Boydston. You do that, and Dave will bring you some great little videos as well. In the meantime, we're still waiting for you to tell us who this guy is. 925-784-2195. Is the ringer on the phone there, Suze?
What's that?
Is the ringer on the phone?
Does it need to be?
Well, I'm just saying, are you looking at it?
I am looking at it.
All right, you are as sharp as a tack. Where were we? Dave Boydston. Dave sent in a nice little video for us. Check this out. I mean, this is pretty cool.
Sometime in November, first week in November, I got some friends online that came out to Arizona to see what I had, and it looks like they're going to end up leaving with 5 or 6 motorcycles. So that's why there's a space here. We've moved the stuff they're interested in out by the door, taking a couple with them. But we did sort stuff again in here, so I thought now that the cover's off everything, maybe other people out there might be looking for something, and they could look and see what's actually in the shed. There's a Falta 250, 71 CZ 125. That's a 360 side piper. That's a 250 side piper. That's a 250 side piper. That's a 360 side piper. There's a couple of Bonanza mini bikes. There's a Omer Tanga Italian fold-up mini bike. That's a Mustang, 1947 Mustang with a 500 Honda 4 in it. So that's exciting to ride. Back in that corner is the British corner of an AJS 410 gooseneck Triumph 500 twin, the very first model of a Greaves Trials bike. And we got a Boltaco Mercurio down there, and then you got a 76 360, 75 250, and 74 250. Another model 53M 4-speed orange Capra. That's a Super Pioneer. Then there's an aftermarket frame also, another aftermarket frame also, 175 with a Swenco front end. 238 Green Streaks over there, a couple of Project Husky 4 and 5 speed bikes. There's a 430, here's a 390, here's a 250, 3 different generations of Huskies. There's a Wheelsmith 400 radial Mako from 73, 74, 72 cc, the Frank's Trials bike, the Wassel Trials bike. This bike's already sold. This is a YZ250B. Then the TM1 250 first year. Then CZ 72 CZ 400, 75 Boltaco 360. Over here, that's a C&J framed XL 350. 76 model engine, so it's a historic bike, historic 4-stroke. Trackmaster Kawasaki F12, which is a prototype of the KX450. That's the CMS frame CZ right there. The next one is the Mako chassis with the center port CZ motor. There's a radial project, a square barrel project, DT2MX Powerdyne vehicle. The YZ125A with the frame lowering kit. There's the first model again of a Rickman Montesa. And that's just roughly what's in here. And it's in a different order now, so it does look like new bikes. Looks like I got some new bikes, but it's the same stuff. A couple of Bonanzas. Kawasaki pressure washer. That's what you need if you're Team Green. You need a Kawasaki pressure washer. Anyway, just wanted to show you we're moving some stuff today, and don't pull the tarps off of everything very often. So there you go. You get to see it. Have a great day. There goes the TM400.
Dave Boardsman, thank you for sending in that video. Always interesting stuff from Dave Boardsman. Be sure to follow him on his personal page, Dave Boardsman on Facebook. And if you need motorcycles, I think he's got a couple over at amsracing.com. Sue's on the line. She just ran into the other room, so we don't get any feedback and we don't hear her talking on the phone. So before I get into the next segment, which will be the Moto Showcase, I'm kind of waiting for Susie to come back. Moto Showcase is brought to you by Preston Petty Products. Be sure to visit them online at PrestonPettyProducts.com. So in the meantime, I don't think Susie's coming back in just yet. So we're going to go on with our next segment, which is, as I said, the Moto Showcase. And I just got this in today. And I think Robert Wilhelm had something to do with this, but the gentleman whose bike it actually belongs to is Steve Chapman. Susie, do we have somebody there? We have a winner. This is Joe Abbate. You're on the air live at Vintage Motocross Q&A. Who am I speaking with?
You're speaking with Lee Miller, Joe.
Lee Miller. So nice to hear from you.
Yeah, yep.
Can you tell me who this dashing, handsome young man is?
Yes, I'm guessing it's Preston Petty.
It is Preston Petty, and I think that picture was taken, I think, in the 50s. But yes,
Wow.
It is the late, great Preston Petty. And I want to thank you for calling in, Lee, and we'll get you, do you want a poster?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. Does Susie have your address?
I do.
Yep.
Oh, you do? Okay. Lee, thanks for calling in. Thank you for watching the show, and we will get that poster out to you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks for having the show, Joe. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Lee Miller, who's your winner tonight for the poster. Okay. Now, as I was saying, a very interesting letter came to me today. It wasn't a letter. It was a message on Facebook. And it came from a gentleman named Steve Chapman, but I think Rob Wilhelm had something to do with it. And let's get right to it. This is the Moto Showcase. And usually this is about bikes and everybody oogles over them and they're all beautiful and stuff. This is a little more of an emotional thing. So let's get right down to it. Steve Chapman, 1979 Honda CR250. Yesterday was an amazing and emotional day. Some of you know I kept my dirt bike that I crashed on August 29th, 1984, after the front wheel came off, causing my paralysis, leaving me in a wheelchair. The reason for keeping it was that I wanted to put it back together someday and possibly ride again, and I just wanted it to know that it did not get the best of me. Now, I want to thank Steve Phillips and Joe Phillips for storing it all these years. I was finally able to move forward with the plan. On March 20, in March of 2023, I started making the plan to restore it. After posting my story and my plan on the Elsinore Dirt Bike Facebook page, I met Robert Wilhelm, and he said he'd restore the bike with me. As it turns out, Rob lives in Traverse City, and we discovered we probably had bumped into each other once or twice before at a few different events. Rob is well known in the restoration of Elsinore's, and he had won many awards with him, so I was truly blessed to be connected with him. After 2.5 years of Rob working hard, finding parts, restoring parts, and meticulously putting everything back together, the motorcycle is actually finished. And as Steve goes on, picking up my finished bike wouldn't have been the same without Steve Phillips being there with me, as he was there from the very beginning, test riding it with me that very day that I had originally purchased the bike. Thank you, Patty Bills, Dylan Chapman, Julianne Lindley, for being there on this amazing and emotional day. I'm now making plans for the You Didn't Get the Best of Me ride. The ride to come will be in honor of all my incredible family and community of dear friends who motivated me, supported me, and stuck by me all through my darkest moments. Without them, I quite literally would not be where I am today. Steve Chapman If that isn't one of the most incredible stories I've ever read in my life, I don't know what is. And my hats off to you, Steve Chapman, because, I'm going to say something here, and I've had this discussion with other writers. What's your biggest fear? None of us want to get killed. That's everybody's biggest fear. Nobody wants to die on the track or on a motorcycle or at any have an untimely death on a motorcycle. What scares us the most? Being paralyzed. That to me is scarier because I know where I'm going, but I don't know how I would function here. And for you, Steve Chapman, stand tall, my friend. You stand head and shoulders above so many more. Thank you for sending in this story. Good luck to you. And if you want to make a video of that day that you ride that bike, you do that. You send it in and we'll play it here on Vintage Motocross Q&A. Thank you, Russell Waters, giving us 25% off on all these lubricants and all the fine products that come out of the wonderful company known as AMSOIL. Now, if you want 25% off because you're watching the show, go to www.theoilpeople.shopamsoil.com. It's on the bottom of the page. Theoilpeople.shopamsoil.com. And it's just not oil, guys. There's all kinds of cleaners. There's gun cleaners, lubricants, fuel additives. I got a glass cleaner here that I absolutely love, and I use it every day. All right? Thank you, Russell Waters. Here it is again, 25% off on everything. But you got to go to theoilpeople.shopamsoil.com. Okay? I got some great news. Teddy Boyko and I will be recording on Friday. Everybody loves the expansion chamber with Ted Boyko. It's a little difficult sometimes to catch Ted. He runs a business. I run a business. I got the show. He's got a lot of things going on. We were scheduled to do something a few Saturdays ago. Something came up unexpectedly, but I did speak to Ted today. I assured him that he was not fired, and because he asked me that, and he said he can make some time for us on Friday. So we got some cool things coming up from Ted Boyko. So we'll be back with Ted. In the meantime, we're going to take a short break. We're going to hear from the International Motocross Museum. Then we're going to be back with more Vintage Motocross Q&A.
I'm Don Kadowski, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. Don't go anywhere.
Motocross struck America, coming from Europe like a lightning bolt, striking the hearts and minds of people all across the country and the world. Battles of intense racing and cutting rivalries with loyalty to brands and heroes intensified as years of blood, sweat, and dirt flew through the minds of those memories of champions as they wrestled their machines through almost impossible tracks. But where are those past champions? And where are their bikes? Terry Good, an ex-pro motocross racer, has made it his life mission to honor these heroes and the bikes they rode to stardom.
We raced, we rode, we lived and breathed motocross. Go back in time and relive those moments, now preserved for the first time ever in the world's first museum dedicated to the history of motocross. Our new building is in the gate. Help us get a great start and you can be part of history. Go to internationalmotocrossmuseum.org and become a part of our team.
International Motocross Museum is a not-for-profit organization, a 501c3. Be sure to go over to their website, internationalmotocrossmuseum.org, and you'll find out more about the museum, possibly when it will be opening. All of your donations, all of your purchases are 100% tax deductible from the International Motocross Museum. And in just a minute, I'm going to have an announcement for you regarding Terry Good, the International Motocross Museum, sort of, but this show more so. And it's a really great announcement. You're going to absolutely love it. Okay. Don't forget to keep sharing the show. In the meantime, you want to become a sponsor, get your name up on the board behind me, $249.95 a month, reach about 1 million people a month. Get a hold of me. We'll get you back there. Okay. If you want to just shell out a few bucks, but still be a part of the crew, $49.95, get your shirt of your choice in the size and color of your choice, the Racer X poster, and an apron, all for $49.95. Jerry Maddox is out globetrotting with his beautiful bride. I think they're celebrating an anniversary. He will be back in the next week or so with a day at the races with Jerry Maddox. I want to thank our sponsor and big show supporter, Sunrise Vapor Blasting. Thank you, Mark Farriester. What's it worth? We're going to find out right now. What's it worth? Brought to you by Full Circle Racing. Thank you, Tom McAllister. And Full Circle Racing, our longest running sponsor to date. All right. Tonight we're going to be looking at a 1997 Yamaha YZ125. You know what caught my eye about this? The garage that it's in, the shop. It's absolutely incredible. Check this place out. Oh, by the way, this is the segment of the show where we ask you, the viewers at home, how much you think this bike recently sold for. If you answered it correctly and do not go over, we'll get you some stickers, compliments of Susie and Vintage Motocross Q&A. 1997 Yamaha YZ125 was acquired by the selling dealer following a 2022 refurbishment by Moto Scrub in Ontario, California. That involved rebuilding a liquid-cooled 125 single-cylinder. They powder-coated the frame blue, installing replacement bodywork with livery that resembles the bike ridden by the AMA Supercross champion, Kevin Windham. That's true. It truly does. And this shop just has me drooling. Anyway, the bike rides on 21 and 18-inch Takasago XL rims. It's further equipped with adjustable Kayaba suspension, Nissan disc brakes, a Pro Taper handlebar, IMS foot pegs, and DID drive chain, Vortex sprockets, and a nickel-plated exhaust with a Pro Circuit silencer. The YZ125 is now offered at no reserve by the selling dealer in Massachusetts for off-road use only, with the factory effects dirt bike stand going along with it. Replacement blue and white plastics were installed during the refurbishment, fitted with thick stuff graphics for livery that recalls the YZ ridden by Kevin Windham. To his first place finishes in the 1996 and 1997 125cc AMA Supercross Championship. Additional work include powder coating the blue frame, installing frame guards, IMS Pro Series foot pegs, a blue in-style all-track gripper seat, liquid-cooled YZ 125cc two-stroke single with a factory rated at 34 horsepower and was overhauled during the refurbishment. It had the cylinder replated and honed, replaced the piston and rings, rebuilding the clutch, installing Boyden super stock reeds, rebuilding the Mikuni TMX carburetor, and fitting a nickel-plated exhaust, as mentioned earlier. Additional work included vapor blasting the engine components, installing a Boyden side covers, and the selling dealer states that the engine has approximately 12 minutes of runtime since the rebuild. And I'll tell you, this is one sharp looking bike. It is from days gone by, a YZ 125 two-stroke, right? 1997. This is before the YZ 400F came about. Doug Henry, the four strokes taking over. AMA ruling out 125s in the 250 class, and it's just a really, really cool part and a beautiful, beautiful bike as well. How much do you think this bike recently sold for, guys? 2,000? You tight ass. 5,000? 6,000? This bike sold for $6,500 just a few days ago, November 5th. Confirmed sale, $6,500. And you know what? We could even go a little higher. It's $6,500, but there was a 10% buyer's fee involved, which puts another $6,500 on top of that, making the bike, what, $7,150? Anybody that comes in under $7,200, get yourself some stickers, compliments of Vintage Motocross Q&A, and Susie Creates. Anybody at 72?
Robert Flaskog.
Robert Flaskog, you're tonight's winner, Robert.
He did 6,300.
How much?
6,300.
Well, that's way under, but if that's as high as he went, is that as high as anybody went without going over?
Well, yeah, Brant John Adams said 8,400.
He's over.
So he's way over.
Brian Webley, 5,540.
So Robert is the winner, yeah.
I'm looking at him right here, too. Robert Flaskog, you are tonight's winner. Get us your mailing address. You get 2 stickers, compliments of Vintage Motocross Q&A, and Susie Creates. Okay? Tell me we could take a little break here. Oh, thank the Lord up in heaven. We're going to hear from... I need a rest, Suze.
Oh.
We're going to hear from Full Circle Racing. We'll be right back with more Vintage Motocross Q&A.
I'm Gary Semix, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A with Joe Abbate.
I get asked often, what's the most important thing on Clunker? Answer simple, it's me. That's why I use Full Circle Racing wheels prepped by Tom McCallister. So should you. Watch this and learn why. When racing vintage motocross where suspension is very limited, your wheels can be the difference between winning or serious injury. We chose to run Full Circle Racing wheels because of the super high quality materials and the heavy duty spokes used. Prepped by Tom McCallister, I have the confidence on the track to push way harder through the rough stuff and the bigger jumps, knowing my wheels are going to stay under me. Hey, Clunker may be 50 years old, but his wheels are brand new, and yours should be too. Call Tom McCallister at Full Circle Racing today.
Shoes.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. You have your viewer appreciation
I do.
winner. Who is it?
It's Brant John Adam.
Say that name again.
Brant
John
Adam.
Brant
Yeah.
John Adam.
Yeah.
You are tonight's viewer appreciation winner. You will get a set of grips, compliments of Preston Petty Products and Paul Stannard. The only way we can do that, though, is you have to send us your mailing address. Text it to me on my personal page, Joe Abbate. Text me your mailing address. I will send it to Paul Stannard, and you will get yourself a set of grips, compliments of Preston Petty Products. Thank you for watching the show tonight. What do we got next? Oh, we talked about Full Circle already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guess who's back in town, Susie?
Who?
Jeff Kokoski.
Oh.
I'm so back. I'm just so happy. I truly am.
He's feeling
Jeff,
okay?
yeah, he's doing good.
Oh,
He's
good.
doing good. He's back with the Did You Know segment. And this week, Jeff wants to know, did you know how Castrol oil got started? Well, here we go. If you were anywhere near motocross tracks in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, chances are you smelled the distinctive odor of castor-based bean oil. And I'll bet today that smell brings back some great memories to you and your youth. Castrol R30, one of the most popular of those oils. But did you know how castor oil got its start? In the late 1890s, while working at the Vacuum Oil Company, which would eventually be bought out by the John D. Rockefeller Standard Oil Company, Englishman Charles D. Wakefield was selling lubricants for steam engine and trains and heavy machinery. In 1899, Wakefield developed a mechanical lubricator that automatically oiled the reciprocating parts on a steam locomotive. The lubricator used a large reservoir with a number of small eccentric-driven pumps that would deliver a precise amount of oil to the moving parts. After obtaining a patent of this lubricator, Wakefield started his own company called C.C. Wakefield and Company. The company not only sold lubricators, but also a range of petroleum-based oils and greases as well. In the early 20s or early 20th century, the Wakefield Company took an interest in sporty motorized contraptions, namely the automobile and the airplane. And it was his company that began to develop lubricants that they now use in these engines, but quickly found out that petroleum lubricants of the day were not refined enough and were too viscous on cold start up or too thin air under extreme conditions. However, the petroleum industry was still in its infancy, and Wakefield realized he stood little chance of convincing large oil companies to modify their products. Well, petroleum industry in its infancy, they didn't want to do it, but here's where castor oil enters. Castor oil is a type of vegetable oil pressed from beans of the castor flower that is found throughout tropical regions of the world. The ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans long ago recognized its medicinal and cosmetic qualities to help as a laxative, body ointment, and treatment for arthritis. But they also used it in oil lamps because of its slow burning characteristics and unique smell. Wakefield and his researchers found that adding measured amounts of the castor oil to their lubricant formulations helped high-performance engines maintain a usable viscosity throughout the engine's heat cycle from cold start to maximum output, calling the product Wakefield Castor Motor Oil. The oil became an immediate hit among early racers seeking to get the ultimate performance out of their cars and their planes. The new oil was even used to lubricate the engine for the first transatlantic flight in 1919. Having helped pioneer a new kind of motor oil, Charles Wakefield brought about a new method of getting customers to notice the product as well. Very, very interesting, Jeff Kokoski. We're going to continue on right now. The Castrol name appeared on a colorful green and white red banner, flags, competitive aviation events, auto races, attempts to break land speed records, or any event related to speed or endurance. By 1960, the name of the motor oil all but eclipsed that of the company's larger-than-life founder, and so C.C. Wakefield and Company simply became Castrol Limited. Although not specifically formulated for two-stroke engines, European factory motocross racers in the 60s and 70s found that the castor-based oil worked well, and they really loved to use it in their leaner mixtures in their high-performance engines. The most famous was probably Heikki Mikkola when he campaigned the 500cc motocross championship aboard his OW Yamaha in the late 70s. Compared to the pure petroleum-based oils, the castor oil worked very well by spreading a thin, even film over the metal surfaces. However, the ester-based glycerin found in the castor oil that gives it a unique smell also forms carbon deposits when it's burned at high temperatures. This wasn't necessarily an issue for factory racers because the engines were toned down after every event, but it didn't find favor for the weekend racer. It wasn't until companies like Klotz and Blendale developed purposely formulated synthetic-based oils blended with castor oil in the 70s, and that sweet-smelling two-stroke oil became familiar to us all. By 1966, the Burma Oil Company bought Castrol, and in 2000, Burma Castrol was purchased by BP, formerly the British company. Today, Castrol is still part of BP and is a global leader in lubricant technology, serving customers in more than 150 countries in a variety of sectors, including automotive, marine, power sports, and industrial. Well, Jeff Kokoski, if that doesn't beat all. Really great story, Jeff. Really, really great story. And I want to thank you for being a part of the show. And, the name of it is Did You Know? And when it comes to the stuff you put together.
Your mic is funny.
My mic. You know why my mic is funny? Because my head was down when I was reading. The.
Thanks, Phil Liberty.
Phil Liberty. My mic was down when I was reading the Did You Know segment. I hope you got most of it. And if you didn't, well, you know what? I might record one tomorrow and put it as a standalone so you guys can hear it.
I think.
All right. Sorry about that. Every week there's some kind of little. Sorry to say you need a better mic. No, my mic is fine, right?
No,
the fact that my fat neck is hanging over the mic when I'm trying to talk is the problem.
That's
all right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to record this right after this show is over, and I'm going to have it as a standalone on the page. There's nothing wrong with the mic. Something wrong with my neck. All right. Where are we?
Let me listen again.
This week in motocross history. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk to you about? A couple of things. Number one, I want to thank Ben's Vintage Mini Bike Podcast for being a big supporter on the show. Be sure to visit them on their Facebook page, Vintage Mini Bike Podcast. Okay. I'm sure you can hear it now, and I'm sure it's really good.
It's good.
I mean, I really don't want to read the whole thing over right now.
No.
But the second this show ends, I'm going to record it, and you'll have it back on the page. And it should be by itself. Anyway.
What happened? Where was your mic?
My microphone was in my shirt.
Oh, okay.
I'm leaning down like this to read it.
Oh.
My Alfred Hitchcock type neck is laying on top of the microphone, and then people can't hear it.
Okay.
All right, then. Now, Works For Me with Terry Good. We're working on a new segment here with Terry Good for this Works For Me segment. And if you were here last week, you saw, I think, perhaps one of the most informative things I have ever seen or experienced on videotape on Facebook or YouTube. And that was, of course, Terry talking about this Mugen that he had purchased new in 1980. The show went on for 90 minutes. The video was incredible. All the pictures that went along with it. And we had our largest viewing audience. And many, many people sent me a text, called me, and sent me emails saying how much they loved it. Well, here's what we're going to do. Beginning next week and every other week after that, Terry Good and I are going to be bringing you some of the finest motocross machinery on the face of the planet right here on Vintage Motocross Q&A. They will more than likely be uninterrupted by commercial, although we will do some commercial plugs throughout the show. But you will see things from Lidos to Monarchs to Works Huskies to some of the rarest motocross bikes in the world. Bikes from the Roger DeCoster collection, some of Bob Hanna's championship bikes, and who knows what else, as we get on with the segment that I've been longing to do for years, Works for Me. And it will be happening with Terry Good, and that's going to start next week. Okay? This Week in Motocross History is brought to you by Racer X. Be sure to visit them online at racerx.com. November 14th, 1971 in California, the Dirt Diggers are holding their 13th annual Hopetown event, but an unexpected and scary surprise cast a dark cloud over the affair. A pre-entry was mailed into the club with a note on the back of it that said, "I am going to kill 2 girls." It was signed Zodiac, the name of the notorious serial killer who was terrorizing California at the time and yet has never been found. The club called the FBI. They sent agents to work the event undercover. Nothing untoward happened, but it was a sign of those times in the Golden State. The race winner that day was Bob Grossi and Preston Petty and Dan Wilson. And the winner of the 250 GP class, 250 expert class, was CZ mounted Marty Tripes. He was just 15 years old. They never caught the Zodiac killer.
They never caught him?
Years later, it makes me wonder who the Zodiac killer actually was. Because when you do this side-by-side view, well, I'm not saying too much, but Pierre Karsmacher looks a little suspect. 1975 at the Trans Am in Lake Whitney Cycle Ranch in Texas, U.S. Suzuki rider Tony DiStefano won for the first time in the series. Roger DeCoster finished second. Garrett Walsink third for the 1-2-3 for Suzuki. Can-Am's Jimmy Ellis topped the 250 National Support class, earned himself a spot on the cover of Cycle News, the Cobalt comic, the Jimmy Ellis. 1988, one of the biggest upsets of the 1980, 16-year-old rider Damon Bradshaw won the Osaka Supercross in Japan, over reigning AMA Supercross champ Ricky Johnson of Team Honda. It was the first professional Supercross race ever for Yamaha's prodigy Bradshaw. Guy Cooper finished third, Ron Tishner fourth, and the veteran Johnny O'Mara finished fifth. We've got announcements coming up, and guess who gives the announcements now? Dun, dun, dun. It's her. Susie, what do you got in announcements tonight?
The announcements are brought to you by the International Motocross Museum. Visit them online at www.internationalmotocrossmuseum.org. Number one, the first announcement is the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast Regional Banquet happens on January 10th, 2026. Right around the corner, isn't it? It happens at the Wyndham Garden Hotel in York, Pennsylvania. Tommy Croft is a guest speaker this year. The deadline for tickets is December 31st. And the second one is the New York Swap Meet happens the next day, which is the 11th at the New York Fairgrounds. Reserve your spots now. For more information on both of these events, go to www.pvrclub.org. And that wraps it up for the announcements this week.
Great job, Suze.
Thank you.
We did the the viewer appreciation.
Yeah, we did.
We need the address
for Brant John
Adams. Brant John Adams. Get us your address. And don't forget, starting next week, it looks like Terry Good and I are going to be bringing you every other week, maybe every second week, at least a couple of times a month. Works for Me. And you're going to see some of the most incredible bikes you have ever seen. All right. And we have a YouTube channel as well. Things will be popping up there. Bikes are on their way to the International Motocross Museum building. If you would like to contribute to the building fund, please do so. Go buy a hat, go buy a shirt, go buy some posters. If you just like to make a donation, do that to the International Motocross Museum, 501c3 not-for-profit organization. Okay. And what else we got? Oh, one more thing. If you want to be a monthly sponsor of Vintage Motocross Q&A, you can be on the board just like the big guys behind me. Full Circle, Armor, Motion Pro, International Motocross Museum, just $249 a month. Thank you, all the sponsors who help us out here and make it all possible. that wraps it up for Vintage Motocross Q&A. As soon as I get off this thing, I am going to record the Did You Know segment, and I'll post it right on the page. I've been meaning to do that for a while now, and my apologies for the video, for the audio rather, on that, okay? But that wraps it up. You want to let the beast in?
He's right there. He's in staging.
He's in staging? You
Yeah.
want to let him in?
No, I'll let him in.
All right.
Go ahead, Gene.
I'm Joe Abbate. You've been watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. I don't know. Let's see if I can get him over here.
Come on, Gene.
Come on, Gina. Okay. Okay. We'll see you next time on Vintage Motocross Q&A.